There is a shift that is occurring where people are beginning to lose interest in everything, and it's causing them to retreat from society. People are radically changing the way that they are living their lives. I know that I have felt this, and you can let me know down in the comments if you have felt it. When you look around our society, you see that everything is really operating on this fear based narrative. We are living in a world right now where we're kind of just like waiting on the next big event to happen. And we have an extreme amount of financial pressure and just economic stress that is overshadowing almost everything that we do.
Everyone is extremely burnt out because everyone, of course, is one paycheck away from being homeless. Um, AI keeps taking more jobs and more jobs, so everyone is in fear of losing their job. Everyone's in fear of being useless. So everyone feels this pressure that they have to keep on moving in order to not be considered to be fired. And then there's just way too many things to pay that you need to pay for in order to live and survive in society, like all these useless bills. And it's bad enough food is expensive. It's just everyone is burnt out and everyone is being squeezed. Everything is being squeezed out of people to the point where they just don't even care about anything. And eventually, when things start to lose meaning, you just start slowly inching out of society, and you basically just some people either save up whatever they have, they sell everything and just leave the country because they want to actually live, or some people just choose to sleep in tents or just be homeless and live off, the grid in the middle of nowhere because like it's not even worth it anymore. It's not even worth it. They don't if the jobs are disappearing, then if no one can work, then no one can make money. And not everyone can just start a business. If every single person that lost their job just started a business, then there will be nothing but just businesses. There's no consumers because if no one can buy or afford to buy anything, there's nothing.
The amount of work that is having to go into life just to maintain it and to survive. And people are getting overwhelmed and exhausted and are kind of completely checking out. I mean, when you look at the statistics, more people than ever are living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody has any money in savings. People feel hopeless that they'll never be able to own a home. They're having to move into their vehicles. Our food system is trash. Our education system is trash. And just the awareness that the people who have been in charge and kind of set up and are controlling the system that we are currently operating in is it's not going so well. And I think more people are waking up to the fact that when we are living in this overwhelming state of fear, we are easier to be controlled and manipulated. When we're comparing ourselves to other people, it's easier to sell us stuff. We are never happy and we're constantly on this hamster wheel of working really hard just to like meet our most basic needs. The world is currently,
I would call it living in hell. But on that materialistic stuff, it just seems like everyone's racing for status, like constantly buying, trying to buy the new car, the new vehicle, the new toy, just so they can look good. They think it's going to make them feel better, but it's just to try to impress other people. Like for example, there's trying to impress girls or certain women, trying to attract certain women by having nicer things, even though it's basically bankrupting you, putting you in the negatives, or having you live on Vienna sausages for for 2 months, or in $1.99 ramen noodles. But the sad thing is that people people go on a spending on when people just go on like autopilot when it comes to spending. They don't consciously know that they're just digging themselves in a bigger hole until it's too late. They just keep spending, keep spending, keep spending, keep spending, and then eventually they're trapped. They're buried under all their possessions. They're buried under all these liabilities, all these responsibilities. And because nobody, at the end of the day, nobody cares if you have all this nice stuff. It's just stuff. And then it just almost feels pointless. And it there's so much going on in the system. This is why America is just it's done. It's done. I mean, I still had a lot of drive before I left, but then just seeing it just continue to get worse, I lost all hope for it.
Operating on a level of corruption that we have really never been aware of before, or a lot of us have not been aware of, just how corrupt a lot of systems are operating, and not just within the US, but globally as well. We are constantly on, our phones and screens and social media.
When there's something corrupt, you have to pay money to receive money. Imagine having to pay to receive money. Imagine trying to figure out the best way to receive your pay without having anybody's hands touch it, or without having anyone take, bits and pieces and parts of your paycheck before you get it. No, every before you get your paycheck, everyone is putting their hands in the jar and taking this, taking that, taking this, taking that. You're getting taxed, you're paying fees, you're paying all this ridiculous stuff just to receive money. And then as soon as you receive money, as you pay it, it just keeps getting more and more and more, keeps getting taken out. You keep spending extra. For every dollar you spend, you're losing a dollar, basically. So it's almost like you're just being siphoned off, or you are just bleeding slowly. You walk out the door, you're spending money. You walk inside the door of your home, you're spending money. Even you got to pay to see, you got to pay to hear, you got to pay to breathe. Paying to exist it sounds crazy. It sounds extremely crazy.
We're becoming more and more disconnected from each other, and it's making social interactions more challenging for us and for other people. Like, we're losing the ability to have a community and form connections with other people. We have been disconnected from nature and outdoors, which is a place where a lot of people can just find peace and calm from.
Well, because they tore all that shit down and put bullshit multi-million dollar businesses in all of those places. They shut down all the places that used to be fun that you could hang out at as a kid. They just tore it down. now the fun places exist where all the rich people are, but not where the middle class are. Now the middle class just have nothing but just bullshit. And then everyone is, of course, so in tune on their phone because it's a coping mechanism. It's when everything is in flames around you, you have to find some way to distract yourself. So you got to go on reels and just find something that will just ease your mind, ease your pain. And you don't even interact with anyone because most people in America are just tired of each other. They don't want to be around each other because they're all feeling the same burn. And basically, they've been conditioned to just hate each other of all different groups, different class, different races, even gender. We already have a gender war. We got a race war, a gender war, political war, class war, everything. We are all scattered ants with no direction. And if we run into headbutt each other in a direction, we're fighting. And next, we're just wasting hours and hours, days, months of just drama and drama because it just seems like a lot of people have nothing going on anymore. Everyone's lost. It's like you cut off the supply chain of things that used to be normal, and now everyone is running loose and lost.
This place of fear, it is causing people to have this overwhelming sense of anxiety and depression, and we have, major mental health concerns that are going on with the majority of people. And that is a red flag that something is amiss. We can only handle so much stress before we completely shut down, which I think is what is happening to a lot of people. We are becoming overwhelmed. And from that place of overwhelm, you have fight, flight, or freeze. And we have been in fight and flight for a long time. And freeze is what a lot of people are going to, where they are just completely checking out. And this is the shift that is leading us into a deep awareness of what is going on. And that awareness is uncomfortable, to be there in that place where you are seeing past the veil, that has been over us for so long. It is the first step for us to change our course and change the way that we're living our lives and not accepting what has been the narrative, the life that we have been told that we needed to live our entire lives. Go to school, go to college, get a good job, retire when you're 65, buy a house, stay there for most of your life.
That system and that plan is completely dead because everything's been digitalized. The thing is, getting a job is so outdated. AI took all that. Everything is way too expensive. You can't buy a house. It would take 2, 3, 4 lifetimes of you working yourself to death to afford a basic house. And then plus to even get a house, you would have to go out in the boonies to get a house because guess what? $1 billion companies or $1 million companies bought out all the real estate and then bought all the real estate and then just jacked up the prices of rent. So you can't really buy a home. You can only rent a home. So you'll be renting for the rest of your life. And then not only just, it's a compound effect. And when you keep compounding things and compounding things, you eventually there's nothing you can do except for leave. You're in a rat cage. And a lot of people, they have a sense of hopelessness. And at one point in my life, I think I got so burnt out that I just stopped caring. A lot of things that I used to care for, I had, no type of emotion for. I was just kind of dead inside. And the only thing I was doing is just hustling and grinding. And I couldn't even enjoy spending my money because even when I had, even when I could afford 7 times the rent, I mean, I was still kind of just in a daze because nothing had any meaning to it. There was no feeling. Trying to seek out a partner was just like, because I don't want to date anyone that is here in this society. But things actually changed for me, of course, when I left the country. When I was in Manila, it was basically like running from like a second family of the US. So we got America and all the bullshit going there on there. You come to Manila, it's a little cheaper, but it's still bullshit. But then I left, went to Bali, Indonesia, kind of had a good reset for 2 months, a little bit over 2 months. I come back and decide to go to the province area. And for the first week, I actually got my energy back, my social energy. I started caring about things. I actually started getting passionate about things. I actually started to do things and have energy because I just wasn't in that environment anymore. And I think what it takes to heal and get away and to kind of get things restored is to simply leave. Like, that's why so many people are leaving America, because America just became just the shit pool of just shit. And there's just no hope for it. It doesn't matter what any loudmouth idiot says. They don't know anything. There's always someone that thinks that their little bubble in their head, their worldview, means something. It doesn't mean nothing to millions and millions of people in the entire country suffering compared to you in whatever little bubble that you live in. I'm just talking about just loudmouth certain city folks that just don't think about other people but themselves.
Isn't working anymore, and that is not the story that a lot of people are living out. With this awareness, we can really course correct and begin to break some of the habits that we have. It takes us out of that autopilot mode where we are just living each day, waking up, going to work, doing the same things, having the same thoughts, scrolling on our phones. This is one of the things that I have just almost become repulsed by my phone a lot of the times. I have days where I cannot even get on technology, and I just feel like that is a huge red flag to me. It's like my body trying to tell me this is not what is good for you right now. We need to start listening to that intuition and what we actually need that is going to bring us peace and calm, instead of trying to override the story that we've been told that we need to hustle and be more productive and go all the time, work, make as much money as you can. We need to completely question.
I hated hearing that shit all the time, and it still pisses me off. because it just basically tells you to just do the same thing you were doing for the 9 to 5, but then basically just do the same thing, but just relabel it. And the thing is, I mean, it's good to hustle, but the thing is, you're killing yourself. You're mentally killing yourself, and you're just running yourself in the ground. And what's even worse is the fact that, like, your body's already fatigued from the previous stuff, but now you have to somehow just snap out of it and then do something else and hustle while still carrying that fatigue with you. It doesn't work like that. The body needs a break. The body needs a break. It needs a break. It needs time to recharge, to rejuvenate. And if trying to operate on burnout level all the time, it's just not good for everyone. And then you just slowly start killing parts of yourself because you're nothing's going to mean anything because you're just sitting there hustling and grinding, starving to death, being called lazy. You're not working hard enough when you were carrying fatigue from what you were just doing the last few years. You just need a reset. But the sad thing is, nobody has savings to reset. No one has money to reset. So guess what? They have no choice but to just keep doing it. And it's basically just work yourself to death. It's like the slowest way to die, the fastest way and slowest way to die.
All of that again, and listen to ourselves and slow down. And if scrolling on your phone is not making you feel good, like, put it down and go outside. Just sit. You don't have to be doing something all the time. You don't need to distract yourself all the time. We need to begin to focus on appreciating the things that we do have, even if we're living in a state of stress and fear. The way that you combat that is with love and appreciation and gratitude for the things that you do have. While the world seems really stressful and overwhelming, and I hear a lot of people not wanting to engage in the awareness of what we are all going through as a collective, the stress, the struggle, the awakening to the fact that the world that we're living in is rather corrupt, and the life that we have been told that we are supposed to live is not what is actually best for us.
It's dead. Our futures have been sold off before we were even born. We basically was told to walk all the way to the edge of the bridge in hopes that we would cross the other side. But then the bridge collapsed, and so all we have is just the edge. And we could either choose to fall off and end it all, or just sit there on the edge and just either try to build the bridge to the other side, risking everything, or just sit there and just watch the other side until you die. So, as depressing as it is, I mean, there was a point in my life where I got so deep down in alcohol that I snapped out of it, and I put it down for a while, and I deleted all my social media because I was just sick of the toxic stuff on social media. I was sick of being around the same people doing the same thing. And I got into cooking, and I got into studying things, learning different skills. And eventually I was able to recover myself. Luckily, while having a very good paying job, but it was still a risky job because I was risking my life. But it gave me some time to actually think, recover, and think about what I want to do in the next couple years. And it all worked out. Ended up starting my first oil field business. And then that was my gateway key to leaving the country and then never returning. But not everyone's going to have a setup like that. But these days, it's like the doors are closing to the point where you're going to be trapped forever.
In acknowledging that, we can come together as people who are all experiencing very similar things. And in recognizing our struggles in somebody else, we can relate to them and have compassion for the people who we have been taught to fear, the people who we have been told are different from us. This is a phase where we can reboot and redesign our lives. When everything seems like it's crashing, when you feel like you are hitting rock bottom, that truly is, and I know this from experience, rock bottom is the place where you really do have the freedom to not have much else to lose, and you can redesign your life in a way that aligns with your values and gives you the things that you need. Something I have learned is I really honestly need very little to be happy. Food, shelter, peaceful outdoor space. When
Same here. I mean, right now, I don't have much, and that's because I gave up everything to have less, and I can say I'm actually doing pretty decent. It seems like a few years ago when I was homeless and I hit rock bottom, and you couldn't lose anymore. Like you couldn't lose much more. Having very little to lose, but as long as you have a little bit of something, something to hold on, to not starve, something. When you have a little bit something to hold on, then you know you're going to be okay. Because it seems scary at first. It seems really scary, but once you work your way out of it, it becomes a little bit easier to just kind of keep coming up. But as of now, I've got water, I've got food, I've got shelter, I've got nature, I've got friends. I have the freedom to go anywhere I want. I'm not tied to anything. Well, I do have schedules for stuff, but I'm not tied to anything or anyone. And I do have freedom. And that actually makes me a little bit happy because everything is very basic. I don't need materialistic stuff unless it's equipment to help me, work on my stuff. But it took having to get to this point to realize that I didn't need three vehicles in all these fancy clothes. I ditched all those fancy clothes, by the way. The fancy clothes, the fancy shoes, all that stuff. I just don't care for it anymore because trying to look nice, even my watches and stuff. I just gave all that stuff away because I didn't care for it. I used it as a flex symbol, status symbol. But then when I realized how shallow and just stupid it was, and then realized the type of people that I was around were just shallow and just stupid, I just don't want to be around them. They're not human. And then plus they have deep rooted issues that they like to deflect and project on everybody else, but never take any accountability for their own bullshit.
people can't see the future, they become discouraged and they often lose hope. So, no matter how stressful and overwhelming things are becoming or they are in your life, the best way to break out of that or get to the other side of that is to practice appreciation and gratitude and notice the amazing little things every day that can bring you a little bit of joy. To begin planning for a future, get creative. YouTube is a great platform to be able to watch how other people have succeeded and to get ideas on how you can design your life differently. There's tons of alternative ways of living, like all across the board, that people are beginning to discover different ways to live from the current narrative that we currently are. If you are one of the people who are losing interest in everything, take that as a sign that your life is not aligned with the way that you are meant to live. And then get curious about ways that you could spend each day doing things that make you happy and bring you joy. What needs to change in your life? It's really an amazing opportunity to be able to have awareness that things need to change and that you are able to change them.
All right, so we're at the end of the video. This channel's name is Raising Wildflowers. Give her some support. Give her, take a look at her content. Give her a like and subscribe. Yeah, we're truly living in some dark times, but all I can say is, it, I have no regrets, and it was the best decision I ever made was just leaving just leaving that hellhole and just leaving everything behind and ditching everything and just taking what really matters and just living a pretty basic grounded life. Because hey, everything that you truly want, you can easily have when you get rid of all of that unnecessary materialistic stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.